Welcome back, my lovely Trails fans. Welcome to today's episode. Alrighty, so we have some catching up to do with all of the wonderful people of Gransel. Congratulations on clearing round 1. Tomorrow's match is in the afternoon as well, so please make sure you arrive early. There's something unsettling about the Sky Bandit team beating the Royal Army. I really wanted to see them get a little further. Aw, the Ravens lost too. All my teams are losing. Man's betting on the wrong team. The Arceli is being held in port by the army, but the Royal Guard are still showing up in Zeiss and attacking the capital. As a Royal Army private, being in the martial arts competition would be a tremendous honour. If only I were given the chance to participate. Yeah, Red Mask Man is dreamy. That guy in the red mask, doesn't he just have the sexiest set of lips? His arms aren't bad either. That's very, very weird. Okay. Doesn't look like there's anyone else walking around right now. All the matches today have been must-sees. It's so invigorating. This morning I had to go out near the Herb Royal Villa for work, and as soon as they recognised us as bracers, they were all over us. It was terrible. Hard to believe all the backlash those terrorists caused by posing as Bracer Guild members. Come and get it. My store doesn't have tons of flavours, but they're all homemade. Step on up and try one out for size. Sure was a shocker, I must admit. Why would the Sky Bandits who kidnapped us be allowed to fight in the competition? What in the world was Duke Doonan thinking? It sure was a good show for everyone else, but it made me uncomfortable. That fight was awesome. I was so surprised I jumped this high out of my chair. Nothing like a tourney to soothe one's shattered nerves. I wonder how the day's matches went. You mean you didn't watch? Another day of doing nothing, gone like dust in the wind. I know everything will change if I can just find a good job, but where do I look? My buddy's got something on his mind again, man. But he ain't gonna find purpose in life just by scoring some work. This was my first time seeing the tournament. It was intense, and kind of scary to be honest. But it's all the same old stuff, you know? I came in here hoping they'd have something new today, but no such luck. The mayor of Ruan got himself arrested, which, as you might imagine, resulted in mass hysteria. We haven't gotten any fresh fish in a while now, and I love fresh fish. So sad. The Ravens lost to the surprise of pretty much no one. Now, it might just be me, but they seemed remarkably upbeat, all things considered. The man in the red bandana lost his match, huh? I was cheering for him too. Would you like a sightseeing map of the city to help commemorate your trip? Let's see. Oh, oil. Gotta have that. My sister can't gain weight no matter how much junk food she eats. So that means she has to suck at selling tea, right? Right? She's obsessed with her sister. Katie's Guide to Savouring Delicious Tea rule number 2. Always use freshly boiled water. There has to be enough oxygen dissolved into the water to bring out the tea's flavour. That's why you use freshly drawn and boiled water, poured directly from the pot. Let's see, where else? Oh, there is a guard outside of the Calvard Embassy. Zin's such a lovable bear of a man, he's become something of an icon at the embassy. If he's got one weakness though, it's his chivalry. He kinda goes a bit overboard with it sometimes. A man can never be too chivalrous. There are a lot of strange people amongst the scholars I deal with on a daily basis. But Professor Alba, he's just a mystery. Those who survived the Great Collapse had quite a harrowing road ahead of them. Wars, poverty, famine. It's thanks to the Orbital Revolution, though, that our lives are as convenient and comfortable as they are today. My, everything is just so very fascinating. That relief over there is from before the Great Collapse, if you can believe it. Has the same sort of feel to it as something you'd find inside the tetracyclic towers, don't you think? Imagination is a key part of an archaeologist's work. After finding an artifact, the real trick is learning what it is and why it's important. Professor Alba is truly a great man. He has kindly agreed to study some of our undisplayed archaeological finds. They may bear untold historical insight. See what's going on at the landing port today. With all the army arrivals and departures, our regularly scheduled flights are all running late. What a bother. The army's commandeering so many landing ports for their own vessels that our business timetables are in complete and total disarray. It was the army that completely destroyed our flight schedules. I didn't think the army could commandeer the airways except in times of emergency. Looks like they're preparing for a coup. They're going to be taking over. That patrol ship is the one that was supplied to Lyson Fortress, if I'm not mistaken. What could have happened to have brought it all this way? That ship. Has someone come here from the fortress? Just who does that captain think she is, anyway? Annoys me like you wouldn't believe it. Though the chief's snivelling cowardice annoys me even more. So instead of the Sicilia, we've got a random military vessel? I wonder if the Sicilia's even going to make it today. Yeah, looks like the military are being very disruptive. Any other year you'd be able to tour the inside of the castle, garden terrace and all. And that garden terrace, oh man, the breeze from Lake Valeria spreads around the smells of all of its greenery. It's just so serene. It's under lockdown right now, but once the castle reopens, I highly recommend going up there to check it out. You know what's annoying? Not being able to read the delivery address on a package. Learn to write, people. See how the guards here are doing. Colonel Richard certainly is a busy man. He's barely been seen outside the castle since Her Majesty fell ill. I've heard too that the core of the intelligence division has been moved into the castle. Round 1 of the tournament looks to have just finished. I wonder how the royal garrison did. It's you. Hey, Sister Ellen. What are you doing in a place like this? I was sent out on an errand, but I got lost along the way. Would you like us to show you back to the cathedral? Oh, thank you, but no. One of the soldiers already told me how to get back. Oh, okay then. Be careful, though. I will. Thank you. Alrighty, yep, so, yeah, we can go to the hotel right now. Welcome back, Master Joshua and Madam Estelle. Come to think of it, there are 2 other bracers staying at this hotel as well. Have you met them yet? So yeah, before you advance the story by going to the Bracer Guild, you can come to the hotel and get up to date with everybody's topics. Hey Estelle and Joshua. Hey Kurt. We both fought and we both advanced. It was an excellent day for us all. I spoke with Kana. She seems to think you have quite a lot of skill. That's very kind, but we're really still just novices. Hopefully we'll learn a few new techniques as we go. Well, I'm hoping I get a chance to fight you out there, so don't let me down. This is our room, I think. Yep. Is everyone spoken to? Let's head over here. Oh, lately he hasn't even bothered to talk to me when he gets home. You know that rumoured entrance exam for getting into the Fisherman's Guild? Well, it actually exists, and I'm taking it. Man, talk to your wife. What is wrong with you? I actually was off on vacation on the day it happened and saw some intel troops leading some royal guardsmen away. It was scary. All the soldiers left behind in the castle were arrested. Lieutenant Schwartz must have really annoyed somebody. If my mum or I don't join him on his little trips, he'll just sulk the whole day and make us feel that bad. Being a daughter is seriously hard work sometimes. Okay, my daughter's clearly pretty exhausted, so I should probably go help her get dinner ready. Man, what an amazing match. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. Tomorrow we meet at the door at 10:00 hours sharp. I need to make sure everyone knows. Oh, he's pretty much a stickler for timetables. Right, West Block. Let's see who we can speak to here. The Master is a scary individual to be sure, but just between you and me, he is simply no match for Madame. Oh ho ho! When I went to visit Her Majesty today, I was turned away by the guards. I've gone to see her when she was sick before countless times, and never once have I been turned away at the gate. It's quite worrisome. Could her illness really be that serious? Went to the castle with Grandma for the first time in a while. I didn't get to meet the princess though. The cathedral is a pretty famous sightseeing spot. I heard it's the oldest church building in the entire kingdom. It's kind of quiet now, but that's because everyone's here for the tournament, not for sightseeing or religious fulfillment. Isn't Professor Russell a student of the guy who invented Orbment or something? What are the Royal Guardsmen planning to do with someone like him? Both the Bishop and Archbishop hold such lovely sermons. Perhaps you should stay and listen as well. I've been meaning to send Sister Ellen on an errand, but I can't seem to find her. Oh bother. The Septium Church and the Laberle royal family are very much in league with one another to maintain peace and order. We've cooperated with one another's efforts for over 1,000 years now. Of course, it is a friendship I seek with Queen Alicia, not a political alliance. In the beginning, the world was a formless, shapeless void. There was only darkness and bitter wind, and unto this void the goddess Adios brought light. My husband's a lazy man, but I'm also responsible for letting him stay that way. We can't live like this. I've been saying I'll go find a job, but that's all I've been doing, saying it. So the army's telling us that the Royal Guardsmen were the terrorists after all. The Royal Guardsmen are a bit formal and old-fashioned, but they're not bad people at all. You know what I think? I think those special ops guys from the tournament did it. Oh, how right you are. If you only knew. I'm pretty sure the owner here used to work over in diplomatic affairs. That'd explain why he's been to the Empire and the Republic so often, I suppose. I had to travel all over the world for my old job. I tried a whole lot of different foods too. One of the curries I serve here comes from a recipe I discovered along the way, in fact. The culture of cuisine is some really fascinating stuff. Niall's finally back from his recent assignment. He's known to just disappear for days at a time, so every return of his is kind of a special occasion. Oh hey, it's you guys. Word on the street is you two managed to worm your way into the martial arts competition. When Nial heard, he said he was going to get an interview with you and took off running. Did he catch you, or did you manage to give him the slip? Well, I haven't seen him. This year was all group fighting, so getting good pictures wasn't easy. My kingdom for a cameraman with some real shutter skill. Religiously speaking, I wish she'd moderate her shopping vice and live more simply. But she did pay for this entire pilgrimage herself. Rather, her father did, and as his son-in-law, I am the guest and thus obliged to keep my lectures to myself. Heh. There we go. Being back in the capital and running a store means I have no time to enjoy shopping. How I'd love to go on another trip. Woman is obsessed with shopping. I need to get home and start getting dinner ready. Usually the military leaves everyone else in the dust, but this year it's hard to say with so many entrants. Can't wait to find out who wins. It's going to be the best tournament year ever. When the tournament starts, a lot of the participants usually come through here. It's always highly unnerving ordering the parts and items I'll need before the flood of people arrive. Yeah, especially when somebody comes in and buys your entire stock, like apparently somebody did. So what's going on with dinner? What they need to do is wait for the right moment, pin down the opponent with audible gunshots, then move in for the kill. The switch between offense and defense is just terrible. Sounds like she's intimidating her husband. This is the first time the Royal Guardsmen have been ousted by the regular army. I can't imagine the circumstances behind it. Estelle, Joshua, who you guys like a drink too? We're underage, you know. What's that? You guys don't want a drink, huh? I said drink instead of drink. Well, this is just prime. Why, the night's festivities have only just begun. There are selge to go before we sleep. Where is he putting all of that food? Does he have, like, a vortex in his belly? So man, was I ever taken aback when those sky bandits from Bose showed up in the tournament. They were more skilled than I would have expected, though, I have to admit. Is it really okay to have convicted criminals serving in a sporting event? So there we have it, day one at an end. I wonder how it went. Well, Doonan managed to really irritate a lot of people. And he wasn't even there to watch. I feel so— oh, actually, no, he was. I feel so young again. I really hope my grandkids and their kids too get to grow up in a time of peace like this. The castle actually gave us tickets for the tournament, so we went. Grandpa gets so excited during each match, he acts almost like a little boy with candy. so that's the Bracer Guild there. That's the last place we'll go. To truly love fishing is to respect its rules and customs. Pollution of our grounds and waters is basis for immediate expulsion from the guild. I trust none of you are foolish enough to cross us. You wouldn't want to wind up like Curly Jefferson. What happened to Curly Jefferson? Preparing to fish can be just as fun as actually casting your lures. The secret is to envision yourself catching the big one and just go from there. I'm proctor for tomorrow's entrance exam, so I need to go out on the lake. Gotta get everything ready. I want to find out what happened to this Curly Jefferson. What did they do? Is he sleeping with the fishes? And it's nice we have so many new customers this time of year, but we're spending all of our time fixing or rebuilding items, which translates into fewer sales. And sales are where we make our real profit. I always listen to my customers, I make a point of it. I feel like I have a responsibility to fix anything I've sold to a customer, but I'll repair things even if they weren't bought here. Most of the big crowds show up just before or just after the martial arts competition. Once that starts, my work goes really slow. Colonel Richard really is something, isn't he? I've been a fan of his ever since he arrested those sky bandits. During the match, I had the chance to examine my darling's face in perfect silhouette. How can she be so perfect? It must be against the law. He can't take his eyes off of me. Colonel Richard has a lot of popular support amongst the citizens. Doesn't surprise me. He's highly decorated and a pretty good person on top of it. That red guy looks tough. All the teams look good. Zin's team though, it all depends on those 3 auxiliary members he dug up. Each one is pretty tough alone, so if you put all 4 of them together, they're like more tough, like super tough. Troy's usually just spouting stuff without thinking, but sometimes he's right on the money. I wonder if this will be one of those times. It'd be nice if my hourly wage were a little higher. Welcome. How about something sweet to recharge after that match? Alrighty, off to the Bracer Guild we go. Estelle, Joshua, congratulations on your victory. Thank you, thank you. Wait, how'd you know already? Grant already reported in. So how was it? Honestly, it felt more like surviving than actually winning. Joshua explained that there were Sky Bandits and Special Ops teams. I see, I'd heard that the Sky Bandits were given special permission to participate. But I must admit, I'm surprised to hear about the Special Ops, particularly that their leader is so powerful. The team was pretty tough, but that commander was, like, on a different level altogether. He moved like a cat and was swinging that huge sword around like it was a toy. I could barely believe he was human the way he was fighting. Yeah, what she said. Elnan, what do you know about 2nd Lieutenant Lawrence's personal history? Nothing, I'm afraid. The Intelligence Division is new, and Colonel Richards suppressed all information regarding them since their official inception. That includes information on the Lieutenant. Drat. Joshua? You seem pretty caught up with that guy in red. Is there something we should be watching out for? No, we just need to know who we're facing, that's all. Anything that can give us an edge in the tournament. Ah, good point. Knowing your enemy is the best way to beat him after all. Ah, actually, this doesn't concern the Lieutenant exactly. Today at noon, a military patrol vessel arrived at the landing port. Its passenger was the Colonel's right-hand woman, Captain Amalthea. That is news. Captain Amalthea, is that sneaky fox-faced woman? That witch who used Titor to threaten the Professor? She's travelling through all of the major cities. Her arrival was unexpected, and caused all civilian airship lines to run late. Yeah, that doesn't bode well. A tour of the major cities? Sounds like a cover for her to hunt down the professor. We've got all branches investigating her trip very carefully. We'll let you know as soon as we learn anything. You two just focus on the tournament for now. You bet. Thanks so much for all your help. Hey you, congratulations on finishing round 1. Bet you weren't expecting to meet up with the Ravens there, were you? It was definitely a bit of a surprise, but I think they were even more surprised. If we keep this up, we might even become braces like a gate. Ew, no one of him is plenty. They fought pretty hard, but honestly, I was surprised how well you did. I heard all the stories about you at the Ruan branch, but you exceed reputations quite thoroughly. Really? That's so sweet of you to say. I can't wait to cross swords with you. It's a date. We're looking forward to the chance ourselves. Good work out there today. Tomorrow it's all about fighting the big boys, making a big noise with some big toys. You'd better bring it. Looks like that's about everybody, so I guess we head on back to the hotel. And get some rest before the next round begins. So you're finally back. You sure know how to keep a fellow waiting. Hey, I know that voice. Good to see you, Nial. How have you been? Don't tell me you came here just to see little old Oz. Okay then, I won't tell you. I'm doing interviews with the tourney contestants for my article. I figured you folks would be my best bet for getting the inside story. I was hoping I'd get a chance to ambush you in an interview at the hotel. You're way too good at your job, you know that? Well, it's not that we're not glad to see you, but this is you we're talking about. What's your angle? Hunting for the next big story, I'll bet. Ha, you ruined me to the quick, kid. I've been like a big brother to you. You scratch my back, I scratch yours, and now you think of me as nothing but a news hound. We know you're nothing but a news hound. Not to mention, the age difference is a little much for us to think of you as a brother. Ah, shut it. If that's how you're going to be, then I'm leaving, and you're coming with me. I wouldn't mind a little night air before bed. Good, we're halfway there then. There's this quaint little eatery right next door to where I work. It's the perfect place to sit and talk. Hey, this is a nice little place. Feels less like a bar and more like a coffee shop. That might explain the smell of coffee. I hear the owner started up this place as a hobby. The brew here is amazing. Plus, he took some advice from someone later on and added curry rice to the menu. Curry with authentic spices. I just like the atmosphere out here though. Personally, have a seat. Let's get this interview started. Not so fast. We were just in that big match, so we're pretty darn hungry, and I'm not about to smell food without eating food. Dinner does sound lovely right about now, actually. Darn kids. Fine, I'll buy you dinner. And while you're stuffing your faces, you can give me the exclusive on any news you've found. And there's the pitch. By the way, isn't Dorothy with you today? Nah, I gave her something else to work on. Now come on, inside with the both of you. The food here is spicy. Tasty though. Nothing beats ribs covered in sauce with some potatoes that are cooked just right. I like a good cup of coffee after a meal myself. I've always heard it's difficult to make it well. Bah, way to eat up a man's paycheck, you guys. I don't know how I'm supposed to afford all this on a reporter's salary. Now, it was a great meal, and great meals don't come cheap. Okay now, you were saying something about an interview? I could write a story about extortion. Moving on. There ain't been much to confirm that the Queen's really taken ill after the guardsmen went all terrorist. What I need is some clear info that hasn't been combed over and cleaned up by the army. heard a little from Dorothy about the kidnapping in Zeiss. Look, let me get right to the point. I know you've got Colonel Richard by the proverbial tail. I just need to know how hard you're holding on. Way to be blunt there. Sounds like you've already figured out an awful lot. I knew he was crooked. Before that interview in our magazine bumped up his popularity, he wasn't really well known or worth paying attention to. Seems like this guy has been planning his moves every step of the way. Right now, we can't say for sure that he's planning some kind of treason against the throne, but it does look like he's manipulating the Duke somehow. Duke Doonan? He's taking advantage of the Queen's poor health and acting like he owns Gransel Castle, alright. But what I don't get is why none of the military bigwigs are making their move. Well, about that. What do you think, Joshua? Should we tell him? Well, we could definitely use some fresh intel ourselves. As long as he scratches our backs, let's scratch his. Hey now, you two know something, don't you? We would have told you sooner, but anything we say from here on out has to be completely off the record. I hope you're ready for this. Ah, shoot, I'm really not going to like this, am I? But fine, say what you gotta say. Oh, you said you were ready for this. That's just... no way. Are you really serious? I'm afraid so. The Special Ops soldiers were behind the Sky Bandit incident as well as the arson, not to mention the kidnapping of the kingdom's greatest scientific mind. General Morgan is at the top of the chain of command and even he's basically under arrest. All of the terrorist-style activities are being made out to look like the guardsmen are doing it. Okay, enough. You've made your point. Darn it all, I can't even report a word of this. The Army's censors already have their stamp all over the latest issue. They did their work at the final printing stage. Really? And I'm left with nothing to cover except for this darn tournament. Hey, wait a minute. You two have something up your sleeves, don't you? That's why you're in the tournament. You could say that. We can't give you all the details on our current request. We do, however, think that we need to make a move just to break the deadlock. You don't say. Alright then. Since I can't do anything as a reporter, I might as well pitch in. I'll see what I can dig up. I've got a few sources with fingers in places the guild would never go. That'll be a big help. Doing anything to oppose the military is going to be a risky proposition, you know. Are you sure you're okay with this? Let me deal with that. Now's as good a chance as ever to prove that the pen really is mightier than the sword. Niall. Understood. Thank you. Yeah, just leave it to me. So what do you want more information on? Info about the army's movements would be good, as would knowing whether or not all of the Royal Guardsmen have been arrested, and also where General Morgan is being held. Got it. All stuff that I've been thinking about too. I'll check them out. Anything else? Maybe some background information on someone in the intelligence division. Huh? You mean like a background check? On Colonel Richard, Captain Amalthea, and Second Lieutenant Lawrence. If we have to face any of them, the more we know, the better our odds. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. And you can bet that the Colonel's working on the same principle. He'll probably be watching the fights tomorrow and the next day. Do you think you can manage it, Niall? I do know a few army folks. I can't get you anything classified, but I might be able to scare up that profile info. Okay then, I'll see what I can do. Thank you. You're a lifesaver. We appreciate it. Hey, don't sweat it. You can pay me back by winning that championship and filling me in on what you hear at that dinner party. I figured as much. We'll do everything we can. Afterward, Estelle and Joshua returned to their hotel room where they retired early for the night. The next morning... Well, we all seem accounted for. Shall we be off? Our match is in the afternoon just like yesterday, so we're free to do as we please in the meantime. We can stop by and get our equipment set up, and maybe even work in a little monster killing on the way. Oh, if that's what you're after, I know exactly where to go. Estelle told them about the key to the sewers that the Ravens had given her and Joshua. You don't say? That's mighty interesting. I hear there are some tough monsters down there, so maybe they'll prove to be worthy opponents. Our Byzantine labyrinth, sneaking out beneath this jeweled city. My adventurer's bosom stains its corset strings. I have no problem with that, provided that we have time. I think the entrance is just at the edge of Western Block's residential district. Alrighty, so things are starting to definitely develop in the Trails universe. So thanks for watching, everybody. That's where we're going to call today's episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification icon, and to go ahead over to my Twitter profile so you can follow and stay up to date on the latest news and videos. And I will see you all on the next one. Bye bye for now.